This is how to adjust a belt on a 2000 Mazda Protege. That nut there that you see, that's the big threaded screw, that there is your tension adjustment screw. There's a nut on the back side of that on the left side of your power steering pump that you have to loosen before you can loosen this screw here. So this is the top here. You got a bolt right here that you have to loosen on the top of the power steering pump. And then down here on the other side of the pulley is the adjustment screw and holding screw for the adjustment on the power steering pump, which is that screw head right there that you can see right here. So once you have that loosened, the bolt on the back side of that loosened, and the one up top here loosened, you'll be able to move the power steering pump so that you can get the belt off. Mazda Protege has two belts, so you have one that goes from the power steering down, and then one for the alternator and down. This car also had a bad alternator, so we put a new alternator in it. So I'll show you how to adjust the alternator now. There's two bolts down here that you have to adjust in order to let the tension out on the alternator. That's the adjustment right there. You have the nut there on the left, and then this threaded screw rod here is what adjusts the alternator in and out for tension. You have to loosen the nut there on the left, and then the tension bolt will turn freely. You also have to loosen the big bolt on the bottom of the alternator that holds it in so that it can twist and move freely so that the belt can come on and off. In order to get the alternator loose, you have to loosen this bolt right here. 14 millimeter, comes right out. And then you got to pry off the alternator off the stud there in order to get it off. And then up here you have the plug that plugs into the side of the alternator. That's very easy to take out. And then here you have the wire that attaches to the plug on the actual alternator right here. Mine was very corroded and rusted to where this whole piece here broke right off the old one, and I had to torch this nut and stud that was broke off of this connector here for the harness. So depending on how rusty yours is, it may be a pain in the butt to get off. Once you slip your belts on, that rust colored bolt there in the very middle of the frame, picture of the frame, is the tensioner bolt. You're going to want to tighten that down so that the belt has about 1/4 inch of play, and then once you have that tightened down, you tighten down the bolt up at the top where the alternator mounts there, just next to that bolt, and then you tighten up your 14 millimeter bolt here at the bottom so that the alternator is nice and tight to the frame and up on the top mounting point there. To tighten down the belt for the power steering, there's your bolt there. You just make sure that you get it tightened down. You can see the belt here has about 1/4 inch of play. It's about what you want. Tighten this bolt here till you got the play, and then there's a bolt on the other side right over here that you tighten down so that the power steering pump stays in place. And then you tighten down this top bolt right here so that your power steering pump's tight. And when you put your belts on there, you want to make sure that the grooves line up for both belts, for both the alternator and the power steering belt. And once you got them tightened down, go ahead and connect the battery back up after disconnecting it for the alternator, swap out, and then turn it on and see if she starts. Belts are all running nice and smooth. There was no squeaking, and you can see they're moving free and alternator's turning. We got power back.